Do you have a show that you love to watch? Or maybe a movie or a series of movies? We love all kinds of things about these shows or movies that we watch. The characters, the action, the special effects, the storyline, the suspense, the humor, the settings. We could go on and on. But one of the things that we may not realize is that when it comes to some of our favorite shows, we love them because we feel like we can relate to them. Maybe the main character has a friend and it reminds you of your best friend. Maybe he or she is dealing with a lot of drama with friends or conflicts at home, and you feel like you connect with every emotion being portrayed. The action or the premise may be unrealistic to your life, but you may feel like the tension, the struggles, the drama are things that you can 100% relate to. And isn't there something nice about that? When we see a character or a storyline that feels like they get us, we really connect with it, right? It makes us like the character or the show more. In the same way, it's great when we have people that we feel like get us. When we have friends who laugh at our dumb jokes and quirks that nobody else does because they understand us. It makes us like them more. Maybe you have friends who could literally finish your sentence or predict what you're gonna do next because they know you so well. I think that that's awesome. As great as it is to feel like there are people who get us, isn't it true that for most of us, when we go through really difficult things, we still feel like we're alone? The reality is going through tough times feels lonely. People may be able to relate to our pain, but they can't go through it for us. In the midst of tough times, we wonder things like, will this ever get better? Why do things have to be so awful? Does anybody even care? Why isn't anybody reaching out to me? Is there any way I'm strong enough to deal with this by myself? The problem is that we all go through tough times. It's a guarantee. In fact, Jesus himself said this: in this world, you will have trouble. Ouch, right? But it's true. If you live on planet Earth, there's a good chance that you're gonna experience some trouble. Maybe for you, trouble looks like all your friends saying they're busy and then posting Snapchats of them hanging out together without you. Maybe trying, like really trying in class and still failing. Suffering an injury or sickness, moving or transitioning to a new school, someone at school who's extremely mean or rude to you. Think of one area of your life where there's trouble. Go ahead, think about it. We're all gonna come up with something. See, I told you that there was trouble in this world. We all face it. Good stuff happens, but so does bad stuff. Since we're going through tough times, and it has a tendency to lead us to feelings of loneliness, and since we're all gonna face trouble in this world, when we're all going to have to deal with lonely feelings, and like anything else in life, we can deal with them in a helpful way or an unhealthy way. When Jesus was on earth, he had plenty of experience with trouble. Take this moment, for example. From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. That's a nice way of saying that Jesus got ditched by people who said that they were on his team. If you ever felt lonely, Jesus experienced that too. In fact, he experienced a lot of things and the same stuff that you and I deal with. He was tempted, lonely, hungry, tired, angry, frustrated, and sad. I've never really thought about Jesus getting his feelings hurt or being left out, but as much as Jesus was fully God, he was also fully human, which means he experienced it all. He experienced the pain and the trouble, and he gets what we go through. He says, in this world you will have trouble. He knew from his own experience that this would be true, but there's more to that statement. Jesus said that his closest friends, the night he was arrested for being killed, one of his friends, John, wrote down what Jesus said. And he said this: I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome this world. In other words, Jesus hasn't just been there. He's been there and conquered it. This means Jesus not only gets how you feel, but he can help you with how you feel. He can help you through it, process it. He invites us to find peace in him. Think of it this way. Jesus is like the most awesome version of an older brother. You may not have an older brother, but if you do, he may be terrible to you. That's not Jesus. He's an incredible older brother who gets what it's like to be you. He's there for you all the time. He's strong, and he can actually help you get through your troubling situations, as overwhelming as they may be. I don't have to be a brother at all, But I've heard several friendships with sets of brothers that were awesome, and they were loyal to each other, looked out for each other, helped each other get better, and supported one another. They were close, tight-knit through good times and bad. That's Jesus. He's the strongest, most loving, loyal, and compassionate brother in all of human history. He has walked through it already, which means his experience can encourage us in our experience. How does Jesus help? Well, he helps us in a lot of ways. Sometimes he uses other believers to support us. Sometimes he uses his word to help us find peace and comfort. Sometimes he uses his commandments to help us stay away from trouble in the first place. Sometimes he uses the Holy Spirit in our lives to make us stronger when we're facing tough times. The point is, he gets what we're going through and he can help us. Does that mean that everything will always be easy? Of course not. We will never face trouble because of this, never get left out, never lose a friend, never get hurt. That's not gonna happen either. Even Jesus experienced that stuff. But it does mean that because of Jesus, you were never alone. And that's what's really important, because the only thing worse than feeling hurt, embarrassed, isolated, and anxious is feeling all alone throughout the entire thing. When we're facing trouble, we all want someone to talk to help us find our way. That's normal. If you've ever faced trouble before and you thought, I wish there was someone I could talk to about this, that's natural. God wired all of us for community and relationships. We all have feelings that we need to verbalize out loud. We probably even have some feelings that we won't even know we have until we talk about them. People are great. Community and friendship are some of God's most incredible inventions. But there will be times when people can't physically be there. There will be moments when you can't get in touch with anyone. There will be times when you feel lonely. But even though you may feel lonely, because of Jesus, we can trust that we're never alone. But isn't it true that sometimes we still feel alone? I want to give you this quick visual reminder. Just go with me. Jesus is like our shadow. There are times, depending on how the light moves, that we can barely see our shadow. There are times when our shadow is easy to see, but we are looking in a different direction. Either way, no matter what, Jesus promises to never leave us and will always be with us, and that's true. This simple illustration can show us how we can trust Jesus that we're never alone. Earlier, I asked you to think about one area of life where you're experiencing trouble. Maybe it's your friends, school, sports, or family. As you think about that, take a deep breath. And now I want to challenge you to try these 3 things. First, talk to Jesus about your troubles. Sometimes the word pray sounds spiritual or overwhelming and we don't want to try it. But praying is simply just talking to God. This week, I want you to spend some time talking to Jesus about what's going on in your life. If you don't want to talk out loud, write it down, type it in a text, or just say it in your mind. No matter how you pray, Jesus is listening and wants to be there for you no matter what you face. Second, talk to his people about your trouble. When a real friend shows up for another person or stays with them when they're down, it's powerful. A lot of times, Jesus uses other people to help us overcome whatever we're facing. That's one of the reasons why we want everyone here to have someone that they can trust, a trusted adult or a friend. So that's the best thing that you can do, is reach out to someone who believes in Jesus just like you, or someone that you trust a lot. That way you're not alone going through this, because Jesus created us for community, not to live this life alone. And third, be with others when they hurt. When you and I face trouble, our natural tendency will be to focus only on ourselves, our situation, and our hurt. But when Jesus said that in this world you'll have trouble, he meant everyone. That means that there's a good chance that someone near you, in your life or in your house, is going through something. Maybe one of the ways Jesus shows up for them is through you. This week, try checking in on those people that matter to you, your friends, your family. Ask them if they're going through trouble. Send them a text. Offer them encouragement. Give them a hug. Let them know that they're not alone. When you face trouble, and all of us will, Jesus is the real deal. He's reliable, loving, and always with you. He gets you. He's there for you, and he can help you. And because of him, you're never alone.